Hey guys, today I want to help you with some tips on how to improve your schedule. That's what's next on Help Me Preach. Alright, so when we think about preachers, they are just like everybody else. They are subject to burnout. And so burnout is a huge deal. And so there's plenty of preachers that go through this. I've talked to uh, various people about this. I've gone through a little bit of it myself. And so when you come to that topic, one of the ways to help combat that kind of thing is to really try to manage your schedule a little bit better. And so if you're not on full-time support, or if you're not doing this maybe as your full livelihood and you're having to do a lot of other stuff, this is going to be especially critical. And so don't be too proud or something like that and say, oh, this stuff will never happen to me and I can just kind of work whenever I need to. Just don't do that. The better you organize and that kind of thing, the better it'll be. I am going to give you some tips that I've learned through the years that are very helpful. All right, so first up is planning the days that you're going to work. Now, this is especially important whenever you're talking about someone that may not do this all the time, or maybe is doing this in a job, but you need to lay out when you're going to try to do this kind of stuff. So this is especially true if you're a new guy. You need to lay out your schedule. So one of the ways that I think is very good, this is from an article actually on church leaders. They had a lot of good stuff on this topic, but he was talking about the importance of working on Monday. A lot of preachers take off Monday and then they'll get started on Tuesday, and then eventually they'll get through the week and they're planning on taking off Saturday, but because they didn't get a lot of stuff done earlier in the week, guess what? They're working on Saturday. So what I encourage you to do is start there on Monday and work through Thursday. That's the method I recommend, doing a Sunday through Thursday, having off Friday and Saturday as your normal 2 days off. And yes, I think it's a good thing to take 2 days off, just as a matter of fully resting yourself and of spending time with your family. One of the things that, again, you have a huge complaint with preachers is it's like the church is always taking their time, or another thing is that they just don't have enough time for their family. And so again, that's a problem. And so you want to try to avoid that. And how do you do that? You do that by scheduling the time that you're going to work. So the first thing you need to work on is like the days that you're going to do. Second up is schedule when you're going to work. So if this is a matter of like you're going to be at the office at 8, or if you're going to be at the office at 9 or whatever, that's fine. Or if you're going to work mornings, or if you're going to work the afternoons or whatever. But I think it's very important to kind of lay out, this is some general times when I'm planning on being here, or even having specific times. Because especially as a preacher, and I fall into this all the time, is you kind of fall into this problem of no one's necessarily checking when you clock in and when you clock out. And so it's just a matter of you getting your work done well whenever. The problem with that is you got to be careful. You have the temptation to be dishonest with your time. And so that's not good. But you also can like basically have this blurring of your time. And so you never really know when you're working or when you're not working. And that's a habit that I've fallen into at times. And it's something that obviously needs to be corrected. And so when you think about those types of things, you need to lay out, okay, am I going to work Monday to Thursday, and I'm going to be in the office from 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock, or 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock, and then I'm going to do some visiting or whatever. Or am I going to go visit on Tuesday night or whatever? As you're looking at that kind of thing, I think it's very important to kind of lay out those specific steps. Because especially if you're a person that's going through and you're trying to hold down a full-time job, and you're trying to go through and try to help get your lessons done and work with the church and go visit people, like that's a ton of things all pulling at you in a lot of different areas. And you need to set specific times, a lot specific times of when you're going to try to work and when you're not going to work. Because I can just imagine somebody working 40 hours a week and then they're completely exhausted, and guess what? On Saturday, they don't have their lessons done. Or worse, they may not know what they're preaching on, which is the last video I did. So check that out if you haven't. But then you're stuck having to do all this other work instead of being able to spend some time with your family and resting, because you're going to be busy all Sunday. So definitely try to avoid that. Now, the third tip I give you, so the first one is planning your days off and working. Then you're scheduling the time you're going to work. And then the third one is get your work done early. This is part of the whole idea of working on Monday. Monday is a matter of just getting into the business of what you've got to do this week. And it may not be necessarily your creative work if you don't want to do that. But one of the things that was in that article is he talked about the importance of getting your lessons, your sermons, done by 12 o'clock on Tuesday. Now that sounds absurd, I'm sure, to a lot of people. I'm not perfect about this and I need to work on it more. But the times that I've gotten that done, it is very, very liberating. Because at this point in the week, I have gotten so much done. I've gotten my 2 sermons done. I know what I'm working on. I know what I'm going to be talking about, and I'm all set up. Now, for the rest of the week, I can go through and do what I need to do. If I need to go visit, I don't have to feel guilty. I know my lessons are done. If I need to go see someone in the hospital, they're done. Any type of catastrophe that could happen later in the week is done. I'm not going to be in a spot where I'm caught trying to work on a day off because I've gotten thrown off because of something else on my schedule. So when we think about that kind of stuff, here's some other things. Is when you work early in the week and you get that kind of thing done, you have some more benefits. Like if you say Monday and Tuesday are going to be the times where I'm getting my lessons done. Okay, that's great. Then on Wednesday, you have time for your class and you can go through all of that. But on Wednesday, maybe you need to go visit someone in the hospital or something like that. But Wednesday and Thursday can be those times where you really hammer out some practice, or you go through and kind of work over again that lesson, maybe refine it a little bit. Because what happens is if you're trying to scramble to put a lesson together on Thursday or Friday, generally you're just trying to get it done. And you're running out of time to practice, and it's crowding into the rest of your time. And so all of that is not conducive for trying to do your best work. And so again, when we think about those kind of things, it really helps us to do a better job with that. This allows you then to rest when you're supposed to rest, and then to work when you're supposed to work. And those things are especially important with burnout, because I know it's easy to fall into the habit of I'm always working and how can I get around this and how do I fix this? And so hopefully some of that was helpful. Again, just take step by step, do some research on it. There's all kinds of time management stuff that's out there. But again, it's very, very important to do that kind of thing, because you want to try to do your best when you're at your best, and also not try to just wear yourself out and burn yourself down. That's not going to be good for you. It's not good for the Lord's cause, and it's not going to be good for the church either, and especially not your family. So try to get your actions and your schedule under a means of control and plan some things out, and it'll help. And so if you haven't checked out the last video that I went through where I talked about how to lay out and schedule your work, or schedule your lessons rather, please check that out. That's going to be especially important if you're going to get in there on Monday and try to write those lessons. Because if you don't know what you're talking about and you use all Monday trying to figure it out, it's not going to work very well. So if you got some value out of this, like it, share it, subscribe it, and we'll catch up with you later.